Hello everyone, my name is Wojciech Wudecki, and today I would like to introduce you one of the latest Sitecore products, which is Content Hub 1. Couple of words about myself. I've been working as a Sitecore as a .NET developer for 5 years. I specialize in CMS systems like Sitecore, Optimalisely, and Umbraco, and I think it's a good point of view to compare those old CMS systems with the newest one, which is the Content Hub 1. Okay, our agenda for today will start with the introduction, so I will try to explain more what Content Hub 1 actually is. Then we'll go to the main features that are advertised by Sitecore. I will try to compare them with my experience, so we will see what they are advertising and what is the reality. The next thing is architecture, so we'll see what's under the Content Hub 1 in the background. For some of you, you might be wondering why do we have Content Hub 1, which is a CMS system, because we also have XM Cloud, so we'll try to compare it. Then I will explain how we position in comparing it to the Content Hub, which is because it has the same name, but almost the same name, because we have one at the end. But this is something else. Then I will show a demo how to create a Content Hub 1 application, how we can consume data that are exposed by Content Hub 1. And as the last step, there will be a summary. I will try to compare it with a system that we have on the market right now, and I will show the advantages and disadvantages of that solution. Okay, let's start with the introduction. Sitecore for many years developed classic Sitecore CMS. It was XM and XP platform. And at some point they decided that they need to create something new that will be based on newest technology. And one of those products is Content Hub 1. There is also XM Cloud that we compare it later. It is completely cloud native. It is a headless CMS. So from one side it's good because we don't need to worry about the updates. But on the other hand, when something will be broken on the cloud side, then it means that most probably all of our environments will be affected by it. Okay, when should we use Content Hub 1? It's for a simple content that will be created for many channels. It allows the customers to consume it in various applications. So we are creating our content in one place and it is exported for different channels. And you can actually create any type of the content, but there are some restrictions that I will explain later. With Content Hub 1, we can quickly initialize and expand projects, because when it comes to the CMS itself, you only need the knowledge about how to create the content types, how to create content based on that content types. You only need to upload some media, and very quickly you can create a base project, base content that will be exposed. Okay, for developers to consume data, we have a bunch of APIs. These are like, they contain CRUD permissions, so you can remotely create, read, update, and delete content within the Content Hub, so we don't need to use the UI. And also we have SDK for a JavaScript and for a .NET platform. Okay, this is a main panel for a Content Hub 1. When we will be creating a demo project, I will show it in the browser. But as you can see, we have 4 sections here. The first one is content type on the left, and this is where you're creating the content types. You are creating fields within that content type. Then, based on the content types, you can create content. Also, you can upload media, and there are some restrictions when it comes to that. Actually, you can only upload images for now. You cannot upload any video or PDF. So that might be problematic in some cases. And the last sections, it says API keys, but this is mainly integration, so we will find all the information that are needed to integrate application with the Content Hub 1, so API keys, etc. Okay, let's see what main features Sitecore advertise. So, a powerful content modeling. Yes, this is true. We have a UI when we can very easily, without big technical knowledge, we can start creating a content type and content. So creating a content is very simple. So when you want to, for example, create a campaign or something like that, we can quickly create a content type and create content based on that. They say that we have a modern authoring experience. It means basically we have two statuses of the workflow. We have a draft, so when we're creating anything, it is created as a draft. And if we want to publish it, then it will be in the status publish. So this is like all the statuses that are available. When it comes to the authoring, we don't have anything like in review or something like that. There is also, when you change something in a published item, it will be changed to a status change, but it means that it is again, that new content is available under the draft, so in the preview, but not on the live version. It will be only available there when we publish the content again. There is that whole media management section, which allows to upload the images that will be later used within the content and exposed via API. And as I mentioned, we have our content management API. This is a bunch of APIs where we can remotely maintain our Content Hub 1 application. And in the last at the last slide of this presentation, there is a link to the Swagger Open API, where you can check all of those APIs that are available there. And I think most interesting part, all content is exposed by the GraphQL API. We have a preview and delivery GraphQL API. The preview is for a draft content, so when we create something and not publishing it, then it will be available under the preview GraphQL API, and when we publish something, it is available under the delivery graph. There is also the JavaScript and .NET SDK, so it allows you to quickly start working with the content. So for a .NET, all we need to do is just download the NuGet package and start working. We just need to check the documentation and create the authorization and start working with it. And the last thing, they are saying that there is command line interface. This is true. There is a special command line for Content Hub 1, which is used to connect to our Content Hub 1 environment from our local machine. It also allows to serialize content and push content to Content Hub 1. Okay, this is a diagram that shows the architecture of the system. So at the center we have a content management, so this is our Content Hub 1, and we can create the data there via the Content Management API and Media Upload API. Also we can do it by UI. We also have that SDK and CLI that is useful for developers. Then when we create the content, it is accessible, we can access it via the Preview API. And when we publish the content, it goes to the Content Delivery API via the Sitecore Edge Delivery. This is a platform when the GraphQL API is present for a Sitecore, and Media Delivery API is exposed by the CDN Delivery. Okay, let's compare it to the XM Cloud. So Content Hub 1 is basically a lightweight solution that allows expose content for many different channels. But when we compare it to the XM Cloud is a full CMS, SaaS CMS, It allows to personalize. It allows to do personalization. You can check the behavior of the customers on the site. You can raise integration, the code for DXP. It is also multi-channel delivery, so this is a similar point to the Content Hub 1. But as you can see, we have a bunch of options that are like extended comparing to the Content Hub 1. In Content Hub 1, the main points are the collaboration, the content reuse, the production of the content. So to be honest, when we compare those two, you can see that it is the Content Hub 1 is like a simple version of the XM Cloud. And actually, it should be used, in my opinion, like that. So for a microsite, for campaigns, I think that in those type of projects, it might be very useful to use Content Hub 1 because we need a small amount of content, so we need to only create it there and expose it and consume by any application that we're using the data. We don't need to the whole solution that is provided by XM Cloud. All right, let's compare it also to the other products that are called Content Hub. We also have Content Hub DAM, and when we compare it, this is basically a digital asset management. So Content Hub DAM is useful when we want to work on our media assets. So for example, images, we want to create image, work on it, approve it, reject it, again approve it. So in this case, Content Hub DAM is very useful. We can also create their small project, jobs. So we have like a full control of our final content. But when we compare it to the Content Hub 1, this is like we needed to quickly create the content and expose it. So we don't need to that whole part that will take care of the authoring the content step by step. We're just creating it and publishing it. So as I mentioned, it's good for a microsite or campaigns. And there is also Content Hub Ops. This is mainly it's focusing on the content operations. So where is like a bigger content strategy, this is also useful for it is good idea to use the Content Hub Ops. Okay, we would like to start right now creating our demo application. So what we need to actually start working with that? Of course, we need the Content Hub 1 sandbox for the companies that are part of the that are partner with the Sitecore. There is ability to use the sandbox by being a partner. We also need newest version of the Node.js with npm. We need to install Content Hub 1 CLI. We would need any kind of code editor. In my case, it will be a Visual Studio Code. We also need command line to run commands for building the application. And of course, we'll use a Next.js starter kit that contains all logic that will allow us quickly start working with a new component and new content types. Okay, so how should we start our work with starter kit? We first of all, we need to configure access to the Content Hub 1 for our local machine. Then we'll download and we'll check the starter kit, how it looks like and what we have there. And then we'll deploy the whole content that is present in the starter kit to our sandbox. All right, so how can we make a connection to Content Hub 1? First of all, we need to install we can use a PowerShell to install Content Hub 1 CLI. And when we do that, then we need to run a command that will create a connection. It will actually stores our credential and allow us to content next time. This is a screen from Content Hub 1. So to authorize, we need the organization. Yeah, we'll be able to point it. Yeah. We have an organization ID, and this is on the right side. We also need a tenant ID. This is also on the right side, and on the left we have a client ID and client secret. When you run that command, then the connection should be established to the Content Hub 1. All right. So when we done that, then we can download our starter kit, and this is available in the GitHub repository. And we need to start from changing the environment example file. We simply need to copy it and change the and remove the example part. And there are four parameters that we need to fill, and these are again similar to the previous sites. We would again need the client ID, client secret, endpoint URL. Endpoint URL in our case it will be endpoint for a delivery API, because I will be showing the production published content, and we need the API key to the Content Hub 1. All right, so this is the next thing. So let me move to the application itself. Okay. And all right, so here is our repository. So we can download it. And then when we download it, we can go to the starter kit. We have our environment. We have our environment file on the left, so I have there already all of the information about the authorization. So what we have actually in that solution, we have the components. So there are all of the components represented here that are taken from the Content Hub 1. So for example, we have a footer component. So this is already here in the starter kit. We have our GraphQL files. For example, we have our GraphQL for a home page. We have a couple of JavaScript files for maintaining the connection between the Content Hub 1, serializing items, etc. We also have our content items serialized here, for example, footer. And we have a styles, and we have our object types that represents the content types that we have in the Content Hub 1. All right, so let's start with PowerShell. Okay. So we need to start by going to our folder where I have the repository. And we need to install our node packages, so npm install. I've already done that, so it will only update the files. It should be very quick. I hope so. Okay, and then we need to run our command to push all of the changes from the starter kit to the Content Hub 1. This node setup. Okay, it's pushing right now all of the content to the Content Hub 1. Okay. We should be at the end right now. Alright, and when we have that content there, we can also publish the items that we push to the Content Hub 1. This is node publish command. Okay, so it's publishing right now to the delivery API. Okay, it's ready. So let's get back to Content Hub 1. Okay. Alright. So if I go to the content types, you can see that we have a couple of content types that I pushed. So this is a header, for example, homepage. And when we go to a content, there is we have a couple of examples of our content that were also pushed, and we have some media here. Okay. And if you would like to try to upload the file, you would see that there is only an option to upload the images. There is no option for video or PDF. Okay. And let's check, because we push some content, we can then use Playground. It's called Playground by Sitecore, and this is GraphQL IDE that is available directly in the browser. So, for example, I would like to query here all the menu items because we pushed 3 of them. So when I run now this query, instead of error, we should have a data. And yes, that's correct. We have 3 items here. This is Sitecore, homepage, and Content Hub 1. And when I go to the content, we actually should see those menu types. So we have homepage, we have a Content Hub 1, and there should be also Sitecore. That's correct. Okay, let's get back to our presentation. Okay, so we check the GraphQL. So right now, when we configure the starter kit, we can try to add a new content type, other content, and maybe some media. So this will be part that will be done on the Content Hub 1 side via the UI. So all we need to do is to go to content types, and we need to click Add Type. Let's say it will be something called test block. Okay, and let's see what fields we have here. We can add a simple text, we can add a rich text, we can have a number, boolean, date, time, reference. Reference is used to connect content, like create a connection between content. There's also media and select. And select, this is a drop-down that allows you to use taxonomy. And taxonomy can be added here under the taxonomies next to the content types. You can see that I've created here a test one, so we can also use a drop-down. Okay, so when you get back to our content type, I've already created here a banner block. So when we open it, we have here a title, we have an image, we have a link. This is also a simple text as a title, and text for a link. So we have 4 fields for our new banner block. And now we need to add that block to one of our pages. So let's say we want to add it to our home page. So we need to create here a new field. That will be a reference field. And we call it banner. Okay, let's click save. Okay, let's move it to the top. Okay. Great, let's save it. Okay, so we have our content types configured. Now we can go to a content type, use our home page, and you can see we have a new section here that is called banner. and we can add existing content because I've already created a banner block. So I put some information about the image and the title, etc. So let's use this one. Let's save it. Okay, and we can also publish it. Okay, we have information that is being published. Okay, so this is the all process to add a new thing to a Content Hub 1. So we need to create a content type, then we need to assign it to one of the existing content types if we want to, for example, use it as a block, and then we need to fill it with the content, and we can also add some media there. Okay. So that's great, but we need to now somehow add this to our Next.js application. So we'll get back to our presentation. Oh, sorry, from the beginning. Okay, so there is a moment to create a Next.js implementation, and we'll start with creating our content type within the Next.js. So we need to somehow bind it to the Content Hub 1 content. Then we create that component implementation, so the whole view for that banner component. Then we need to do GraphQL changes to actually gather the content from the API. And then we'll update our homepage view to add there also our new component. Okay, so let's get back to the studio code. Okay, so first of all, we need to go to components, and we need to, sorry, not components, to the types, types, okay. All right, so in here we are creating a representation of our content from the Content Hub 1. So we can see in our object type we have a title, we have ID, name, image, link, and link text, and it will be all matching the information that will be gathered from the delivery API. And as a result, we have an array because in that reference we can have more than one content assigned. If you have that representation, then we can go to the homepage type, and we need to import our banner block results here and also assign it to the homepage type to have it available here. And then we need to create a new component that will be called banner component. And in this component we need to import some styles, we need to import an image and link from a Next.js, and we are creating a simple markup that will show us a div with the ID of that banner. We'll get the title, we get that image, and also a link with a link text. And that's great, but we need to also update our query for a homepage to actually provide those data to our application. So let me get that query. So let's add it under the right above the footer. So what we have here, we have a banner query. It will return us total information about the items. It will get the results of type of a banner block. We will have the our properties that we have in our banner block, and it will be matched to our object type within Next.js. And there is also a media query. This is coming from the starter kit. There is the under it we have a query to gather the image information, and we have also our link and link text. So by adding that here, we'll be able to consume the data from the Content Hub 1. Okay, and the last part will be to add our banner block to the view of the whole application. So let's uncomment that. Sorry.
Nie wizualizuję.
No właśnie. Like that. Okay. Let's save it. And let's get back to our PowerShell. So right now we need to run our application, and to do that we are using command npm run dev. We get information about the localhost address. So when we use that one, we should get our new content. Just 1 second. I hope I saved everything. I have a video just in case.
On which query? Yeah.
Okay. I think it looks good. Okay. Let's get back.
Let's refresh.
Okay. Thank you for advice. Alright, so this is a part that was in the starter kit. There are some items here, but here is our banner block. It has a title, it has an image, and a link to a Google. And when we get back to our Content Hub 1, and if we see our content for a banner, you will see that it is the same content that we have in the page. Okay, let's get back to the presentation. So we created an implementation in the Next.js. So let's go to the slide about the summary. So these are some pros and cons that I created based on my experience with working with the Content Hub 1. And with advantages, we have great for companies and microsites. As I said, I guess it might be very useful for a small project to expose the content and consume it via various of channels. We have easy content authoring, so we don't need technical knowledge to actually big technical knowledge to actually start working with it. Great for a Smite project. We have a GraphQL IDE, so we can check our queries for GraphQL. We can reuse our content, and as I mentioned, it can be consumed by many vendors. And from disadvantages, we have very simple workflow. We have only draft and publish option. It supports only images. We don't have their analytics, so if we would like to measure behavior of the user, we are not allowed to do that for now. We actually don't have ability to create any custom. We can do that, but it is not very easy to do. So creating there any custom tools or jobs, it's a very complicated job. And yeah, I mentioned that XM Cloud can do that too. So, in my opinion, when we are using for a client the XM Cloud, I don't know if it's a good idea to use another CMS system to create a small content. I guess we can also do that in the XM Cloud. And there is no languages version for now. And someone might be curious if how much does it cost, and actually we don't know it yet. So I guess
It will be expensive.
yeah, I wasn't able to find any information about that. Like I think that when you write to the support, and if they check your needs, then you will get a price that will fetch your needs. So, but to be honest, if I compare it to some free CMS systems like Umbraco, we can do that the same there, actually, but we don't need to pay for it. So that's one of the conclusions.
Language.
Okay, so these are useful links that you can use. It will be in the presentation, and